But right now, we want to turn to somebody who covered the case, the first case when it actually happened, and that is Sam Perez. She now works for our sister station in Tennessee. And Sam, after hearing this news and you having been there day after day after day and seeing this trial for yourself, what are your initial reactions to this?
Yeah, Whitney, good to see you again. I mean, certainly, I think the first reaction I had is just shock. I mean, this was a historic trial. It lasted 6 weeks, and it was in this tiny, tiny town in Walterboro. And going there, seeing the chaos that overtook this town, that overtook this community, and thinking about that happening for a second time is truly shocking. The amount of resources, the amount of time that went into this, the amount of attention that it got from people all over the world, thinking of it now all again being repeated, again, just really is pretty mind-blowing.
Sam, take us to the trial and the atmosphere in the community. How were people feeling? How did this impact the community?
Yeah, I mean, Colleton County is a small town where everyone knows everyone. They were familiar with not only Alex Murdaugh and his family, but also with all of the people that were testifying. There were so many witnesses in this case, and for a lot of these people, it was, people, their neighbors they had interacted with. And so I think this town, for them to see so much excitement and chaos was overwhelming. That was what I was hearing from people when I was there. And it really just, I mean, it took over the town. It was all everyone was talking about. I remember even going there, it was a little bit of a drive to get there. And so we had to book a hotel. And almost every hotel room was fully booked. I mean, media was outside of the Colleton County Courthouse every day, lining the grass. I mean, it was like shoulder to shoulder, elbow room. And I mean, it really was just, I mean, a literal circus. And I know it was not something that that community is used to.
Absolutely not. And I also want to talk about being inside the courtroom. Every single day, we saw that it was absolutely packed inside the courtroom, from folks who were either on the prosecution side or the defense's side, or people who just wanted to watch this trial unfold because of its historic nature. Can you talk to us about the atmosphere inside the courtroom?
Yeah, Whitney. So every morning before court got started, there was a line outside of the building. People were waiting for hours in all different kinds of weather. Because think about it, the trial got started in January and it ended in March. So we started and the grass was dead outside the courthouse. It was cold outside. And by the time that the trial ended, it had warmed up. It was hot. It was that South Carolina weather that everyone's used to. And so people were waiting in all sorts of different types of weather, trying to get into the courthouse just to get a seat in that courtroom to see the action unfold. And that continued for all 6 weeks of the trial. So it was definitely crowded in the courthouse, with everyone trying to figure out what exactly was happening, who was being called, what to pay attention to, because these were long days. And again, just emphasizing how long this trial lasted. I mean, there was a lot of information. And I think for a lot of people that came and had really not had experience sitting in a courtroom and just wanted to see that action as it was unfolding, I think there was a lot of confusion about, okay, we're hearing about this bullet and we're hearing about this bullet. And I think it was very systematic by the prosecution and the defense, how they went through, how they asked witnesses questions. So I think there was a lot of people learning in the courtroom about the legal process. I think there was a lot of interest in what was happening. There was certainly a lot of interest in the jury and how they were reacting. And then I think a key piece that a lot of people aren't aware of because it wasn't broadcast is not only was the Colleton County Courthouse absolutely packed with every seat filled, but also there's a building right across the street that additional media was in. So it was the Wildlife Center, I believe, right across the street. And so whoever wasn't able to make it into the courthouse was able to sit in this giant room. We watched the televised version on this big projector screen. It was all media members typing notes, trying to get out information on social media, because anyone inside the courthouse was not allowed to have their cell phones or laptops on. So everyone was taking handwritten notes and just watching what was happening. So it wasn't only the interest in the courthouse, it was also a building full of people outside as well.
Absolutely. And from your experience, from your memory covering this trial, what moment or moments do you feel had the biggest impact on the jury during the trial?
Ooh, Whitney, that is such a good question. And I think I think any time that a witness got emotional, it was certainly impactful to the jury. I think there was a lot of testimony from members of law enforcement, and certainly hearing about the graphic nature of the murders, I think was incredibly impactful. Seeing pictures, watching the jurors see the images that were entered into evidence of Maggie and Paul's bodies, I know that was a very impactful moment. I know for me, sitting in the courthouse, listening to Alex's brother testify, he got emotional up on the stand, and several of the witnesses did. I think anytime that you're so close to that emotion and you're able to, see how it impacted people, I think it certainly was impactful. And for me in the courthouse, sitting there, I think my biggest realization about this trial is for a lot of people watching this all across the country, all around the globe, it feels like it's this, movie or this TV show happening that you're watching on the screen. But when you're actually sitting in that courthouse, when you're one of those jurors, or when you're someone sitting in the gallery of the courthouse, I mean, you're seeing these people in real life, seeing how it impacted their life, seeing how it impacted their community. So I think there were a lot of really powerful moments that you see on TV, but actually being in that courthouse really hit harder.
And I have to ask you, moving forward, what about this new trial are you going to be paying the most attention to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, certainly everything that happens, one thing that I'm curious about is it feels like we know the strategy now. I mean, we know what the prosecution is going to argue. We know what the defense is going to argue. And so that element of surprise that you had the first time is not there anymore. And also, I've been, listening and watching to the analysis of what's going to be different, and thinking about the fact that the financial crimes won't be able to be as big of a part of this new trial is really interesting, because I think that the prosecution spent a lot of time talking about those financial crimes, trying to use that to talk about Alex's character. And so the fact that they might not be able to do that to the same scope, I think will make a difference. And I'm curious to see how that plays out.
All right, Sam, it is so good to see you again. We appreciate all the work that you did here, all the work that you are still doing in Tennessee, killing it. It's so good to see you, and we'll definitely have to check back in with you again, because you had a front row seat to everything that happened in Colleton County with this trial.